The truth about Jungkook's heart isn't found in interviews or headlines. It's hidden deep in his birth chart. In this video, we dive into his natal horoscope to uncover the truth about his friendships, family bonds, romantic life, future spouse, even the possible name of the one he's meant to be with. And yes, we'll also try to find an answer to the big question, when will JK get married? Let's find out together what astrology reveals about him. Hello stars, welcome back to my channel where I analyze the birth charts of your favorite celebrities. If you're new here, my name is Beatrice, I'm a professional astrologer, and today I'm talking about BTS member Jungkook, focusing on his relationships, be it family, friendships, or his future spouse. I already published 3 other videos where I talked about his personality, career, and money. If you haven't done that yet, I recommend you to watch at least the 2 videos about his personality, because his personality will of course also influence his relationships. Let's take his strive for perfection as an example. This makes him want to be perfect, first and foremost related to his career and social standing, but also to behave perfectly in a relationship, whatever that may mean. I won't repeat all that information now, so please watch the other videos too if you haven't done that already. I'll put the links in the description. I also want to mention that for the time being, this is the last video about Jungkook. The next ones will be about the other 6 BTS members, but I will come back to JK. Some of you are interested to know more about his relationship with V and Jimin, so I will make videos about that too. Subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on if you don't want to miss these videos. And if you want to have the complete analysis of Jungkook's birth chart in written form, it's available as a PDF file. Check the link in the description. You can download it and read his horoscope anytime you want. Now back to Jungkook's relationships. Let's start with his family. In astrology, the 4th house of the birth chart tells us details about a person's family, childhood, home, and emotional roots. It's mostly related to the family we were born in, but also to the family we will build ourselves in the future. And then we have the 3rd house that represents, among many other things, our siblings. Jungkook was born with the 4th house starting in the sign of Aries. Aries is a fire sign, bold, independent, and full of energy. This means that from a young age, home may not have been calm and soft. It was probably a place full of action, strong emotions, and maybe even some fights. It also shows that Jungkook learned early on to be strong and stand on his own 2 feet. In some way, he may have had to grow up quickly. Inside this 4th house, we find Vesta, an asteroid that represents exactly the home, devotion, and sometimes sacrifice. Vesta in Taurus, a very steady and loyal sign, shows that Jungkook has a deep love for the idea of home. He might not have had a perfect family life because he was away from his family, but he carries a quiet devotion to it in his heart. He could be someone who puts a lot of care into creating a safe space for himself and others. But there's more to the story. Vesta is in opposition to Chiron, an asteroid known as the wounded healer. Chiron shows us where we carry deep emotional pain. His Chiron is in the 10th house, the house of career and public image. This opposition suggests a wound related to having to grow up fast or take on big responsibilities while he was still just a boy. In my opinion, this aspect shows that he had to leave home at a very young age in order to become a trainee and later a K-pop idol. And this is something that left a scar. There's a feeling here that he couldn't fully enjoy a soft, protective family environment because the outside world, meaning his career, fame, expectations, called him too soon. This might be something he still feels deep down, even if he doesn't talk about it. But Jungkook's chart also holds a kite pattern, which is very special. Imagine a flying kite. It needs balance, tension, and strong wind to rise. The peak of this kite is his moon, the planet that shows emotions, family bonds, and inner comfort. His moon is in the 8th house, a deep and mysterious area linked to transformation, emotional bonds, and shared energy. This means he feels things very deeply, especially when it comes to close family connections or emotional change. His moon makes a gentle connection to Vesta in the fourth house and to the part of fortune in the 12th house, which is the house of dreams, solitude, and inner healing. These flowing lines show that even though he carries emotional pain, he has a natural gift for turning it into something beautiful. It could be through music, deep emotional work, or simply by creating a peaceful place for himself and those he loves. But then there's an opposition to asteroid Fortuna in the second house. That's the asteroid of luck and wealth in the house related to finances. This adds some tension, especially around security or money, like there's a push and pull between having emotional peace and building a solid life in the outside world. Still, the kite shows that he can fly high if he stays true to his emotions. Now let's look at the area related to siblings. The third house shows siblings, and Jungkook's third house begins in Pisces, a soft and emotional sign. Pisces brings a feeling of kindness and maybe even a dreamy or distant bond between siblings. It can show a deep connection, but at the same time, physical distance is likely. And there's more happening here. His Saturn is also in the third house in Aries and it's retrograde. Saturn is the planet of responsibility, discipline, and life lessons. When Saturn is in this house, it can show that relationships with siblings come with a sense of duty or struggle. There may have been times when Jungkook felt distant or different from his brother, or maybe he had to take on more than what felt fair. Saturn in the third house in a younger sibling's chart usually makes them very competitive, wanting to catch up with the older sibling, wanting to prove themselves. We already know that JK is competitive, and moreover that Saturn is in Aries, a competitive and strong-willed sign. It's likely that there was some rivalry, especially in younger years. This kind of early competition may have helped him mature quickly. He might have felt like he had to carry responsibility, act like an adult too soon, or keep things under control even if inside he just wanted to be a kid. All of this paints a picture of a boy who grew up learning how to be strong, independent, and self-reliant, sometimes at the cost of his own softness. His emotions are deep and rich, and even though his family story might carry pain or distance, there's a beautiful inner light that guides him. He's someone who turns old wounds into strength, who builds his own version of home with care, and who carries quiet devotion to the people and places that shaped him, even if they couldn't always give him what he needed. When we look at friendships and the people we might team up with for big dreams or business, astrologers look at the 11th house in the birth chart. For Jungkook, the 11th house begins in Scorpio, a deep and intense water sign. Scorpio doesn't do small talk or shallow friendships. This means that Jungkook doesn't let just anyone get close to him. When it comes to friends and his team, including his band members, he wants trust, loyalty, and emotional depth. He may seem a little guarded at first, but once someone earns his trust, he can be very loyal and protective. His friendships aren't just for fun. They often have meaning and emotional weight, maybe even a transformative effect. Inside this 11th house sits Pluto, the planet of transformation, power, and hidden strength. Pluto is like a volcano, quiet on the surface but powerful underneath. With Pluto here, Jungkook's friendships and his band change his life in big ways. He might meet people who open up whole new worlds for him or people who challenge him deeply. Sometimes there may be drama, jealousy, or power struggles in friendships. He might lose certain friends as he grows, but each time it teaches him something important about trust, truth, and his own inner strength. Pluto is in Sagittarius, a sign that loves freedom, big ideas, and exploring life. So even though his friendships are deep and intense, he's also drawn to people who are open-minded, wise, and inspiring, people who want to grow and learn just like he does. His friends might come from different cultural backgrounds or different countries, or they have unique views that help him see life in a new way. Now Pluto doesn't sit quietly in his chart, it's making strong connections to other parts of his personality. One of those is a square to his moon and Mercury. The moon shows how we feel and what makes us feel safe, while Mercury is the planet of communication and thinking. These squares mean there can be emotional tension. Sometimes he may find it hard to express his true feelings with his friends or partners. He might hold things in or keep a lot inside until he can't anymore. Maybe he's been hurt before or learned to protect himself early on. This Moon Mercury Pluto mix says one thing clearly. Jungkook needs honest, deep, emotionally intelligent people around him, but trust doesn't come easy. Once it's there though, he will fight to keep that bond strong. On the brighter side, Pluto makes soft, helpful connections to Uranus and Neptune in the first house, the part of the chart that shows how Jungkook shows up in the world. Uranus is the planet of change and surprise, and Neptune is the planet of dreams and imagination. These two planets in the first house make Jungkook seem both unique and magical, someone who stands out, someone who feels a little otherworldly or artistic. With Pluto working gently with Uranus and Neptune, Jungkook has a quiet ability to attract powerful creative friends and partners. People may see something special in him, not just because of how he looks or acts, but because of the strong energy he gives off. In business partnerships or creative teams, he might be the one who brings transformation, mystery, or vision to the group. He's good at spotting what others can't see, and when he connects with the right people, amazing things can happen. Now let's take a closer look at partnerships, both personal and business related. The seventh house rules this area, and Jungkook's seventh house begins in Cancer, another water sign. Cancer is gentle, emotional, and caring. This means that even in business, Jungkook works best with people he feels emotionally connected to. He's not someone who can team up with just anyone. He needs to feel that a person understands him and cares about the same things. Loyalty, emotional safety, and shared values are very important to him. The ruler of Cancer is the moon, and his moon is in the 8th house in Virgo. This adds another layer. The 8th house is all about trust, intimacy, and sharing, not just emotions, but sometimes money, time, or secrets. Virgo is a smart and careful sign that pays attention to every little detail. So when it comes to relationships, Jungkook is thoughtful and maybe even a bit cautious. He looks for people who are stable, hardworking, and trustworthy. He might quietly test people before letting them get close. In both friendships and work teams, he needs people who are reliable and honest. Overall, Jungkook's chart says this. He has a strong emotional world and he takes relationships seriously. His band is like a family for him. Whether it's a friend, a bandmate, or a business partner, he needs depth, loyalty, and real connection. Surface level interactions don't interest him. He might go through ups and downs in his friendships, but every experience makes him wiser and stronger. In the end, the people who stay close to him are the ones who respect his need for trust, give him space to grow, and walk beside him with kindness and honesty. To understand someone's romantic style, astrologers first look at the 5th house. This part of a chart shows how a person flirts, dates, and expresses love and passion. For Jungkook, the 5th house begins in Taurus, a sign ruled by Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and attraction. Taurus is steady, sensual, and very physical. It loves comfort, touch, and slow, meaningful connection. Even though there are no planets inside his 5th house, the sign itself tells us a lot. Jungkook probably prefers to take things slowly when it comes to romance. He might not fall in love instantly, but once he does, he enjoys affection, loyalty, and physical closeness. He likes to feel safe and he probably expresses love through actions, like giving thoughtful gifts, spending quality time, or simply being there when it matters. If someone wants to win Jungkook's heart, food is the key. That person should invite him to dinner or even better cook that dinner themselves. Now we look at where Venus is placed because she rules Taurus and therefore rules Jungkook's love life. His Venus is in the 9th house in the sign of Libra. The 9th house is about travel, learning, and big life ideas. This means that Jungkook is drawn to partners who are open-minded, passionate, and maybe even from different cultures or backgrounds. He may fall in love while traveling, working abroad, or learning something new. Romance for him isn't just about holding hands, it's also about adventure, growth, and being inspired by his partner's mind and heart. His Venus is in Libra, exactly the sign it rules, so this is a very strong placement. Libra is all about balance, harmony, and connection. It's the sign that wants love to feel fair, beautiful, and peaceful. Jungkook probably dreams of a relationship where both people respect each other, talk things through, and enjoy being equals. He is very charming in love with a kind and polite way of showing he cares. Venus in Libra often wants everything to feel graceful, but it isn't just sitting quietly in Jungkook's chart. It's part of something called a T-square, which creates emotional tension. This makes love a little more complicated, but also very meaningful. Venus makes an opposition to Saturn, the planet of limits, responsibility, and lessons. Saturn is in the third house, which usually rules communication and how we speak or think. This means that Jungkook might sometimes feel torn between what his heart wants and what his mind says it's safe. On one side, Venus in Libra wants sweet romantic love that flows easily. On the other, Saturn adds a heavy feeling like needing to be cautious or worrying about saying the wrong thing. Maybe when Jungkook was younger, he didn't always feel free to talk openly about his feelings, or he felt pressure to be responsible instead of playful. Because of this, he might sometimes second guess himself in love. He might wait too long to say how he feels or hold back because he doesn't want to be judged or misunderstood. This Venus Saturn connection can also show that love might come with delays. He may be someone who matures later in relationships or who feels like love is something he needs to work for, not just fall into. The good part, when Jungkook loves, he takes it seriously. He's not here for flings or shallow promises. He wants something real, loyal, and lasting, even if it takes time to find. Now let's look at the third part of this T-square. Pallas Athena, an asteroid that represents wisdom, strategy, and inner strength. Pallas Athena is in Jungkook's first house, which shows his personality and how others see him. When Venus and Saturn both form tense angles with Athena, it tells us something important. Love is not just emotional for him, it's also mental and personal. He thinks a lot about what the right relationship looks like. He is very private with his feelings, planning carefully before making a move. This T-square shows us that romance is a learning journey for Jungkook. He may go through periods of doubt, holding back, or questioning if someone really understands him. But it also shows someone who is growing into an emotionally wise and powerful partner. He's learning how to balance his needs for connection with his need for stability. He's learning how to speak his truth even if it feels scary at first. Things get hot when we look at his eighth house, the part of the chart that shows intimacy, deep emotional bonds, secrets, and shared energy. This house begins in fiery Leo and it's packed with planets, including the Sun, which shows identity, the Moon, which shows emotions, Mercury, the mind and communication, the North Node, life purpose, Black Moon Lilith, raw desires and hidden ideas, and Juno, the asteroid of commitments and soul bonds. And most important of all, the Sun rules Leo, which means the ruler of the eighth house is also sitting in this house. That's a very strong message. Intimacy is central to Jungkook's life. Let's take it one step at a time. Having the Sun and Moon in the eighth house means that Jungkook's core self and emotional world are both focused on deep connection. He doesn't want shallow relationships. When he gets close to someone, he wants full honesty, full trust, and complete openness. This can make him very intense in love, maybe even a little mysterious. He might not show all his feelings right away, but when he does, he gives everything. He's someone who wants a partner who can handle all of him, the bright parts and the shadowy ones. The Sun and Mercury are joined together here too, and Mercury is retrograde, which means his mind is very inward focused. He probably thinks deeply about love and intimacy, maybe even overthinks it sometimes. He could replay emotional conversations in his head or take time to find the right words. But when he speaks from the heart, it's powerful. He might not always say things out loud right away, but he feels them strongly. Also in the eighth house, he has the North Node, which points to what our soul wants to grow into in this life. Jungkook is here to learn about trust, vulnerability, and real emotional closeness. That means he may have to face fears of being too exposed or giving someone too much power over his heart. But by doing that, he finds true connection, the kind that changes both people in the relationship. Next to the North Node is Black Moon Lilith, which represents wild desires, independence, and parts of ourselves we don't always show. Because Lilith and the North Node are together, it means Jungkook's path includes embracing those secret, intense parts of him, the parts that want freedom, deep desire, and truth. In love and intimacy, he may attract partners who are strong, magnetic, and a little rebellious. These partners might wake up something powerful in him passion, longing, or even transformation. At times, these connections can be overwhelming, but they are not meant to be easy. They are meant to teach him about trust, power, and how to stay true to himself in a relationship. Lilith conjunct the North Node could also indicate that his relationships, especially the intimate part, are somehow unusual, defying the norms or society's expectations. I said earlier that he fears that he might get exposed. This is not only in the relationship itself, but could also be related to his idol image. He is very careful and secretive when it comes to his love life. Last but not least, we see Juno in the 8th house too. Juno is an asteroid that shows what kind of person we might commit to, not just for dating, but for a long-term emotional partnership. With Juno here, Jungkook needs a partner who is deeply loyal, emotionally intelligent, and willing to go through life's ups and downs with him. He's not looking for someone perfect, he's looking for someone real, someone who will stand beside him through everything. So what does all this mean for his romantic and intimate life? Jungkook may appear calm or even careful in love at first, but deep down he is incredibly passionate. He wants something that feels real, body, mind, and soul. His relationships won't be simple or light. They will be deep, emotional, and transformative. He may have to learn how to balance his desire for control with the need to open up and be vulnerable. But once he does, he has the potential to experience a love that is not only passionate, but also deeply healing. His path in love is powerful, and when the right partner comes along, it will feel like both of them are discovering a new world together. When we look at someone's birth chart to understand what marriage and long-term relationships might be like, we must analyze the 7th house. This house shows the type of person someone might marry, how they act in serious relationships, and how they connect in one-on-one relationships. For Jungkook, the 7th house begins in Cancer, which is a very emotional and caring sign. Cancer is ruled by the moon, the planet that shows feelings, comfort, and how we nurture others. This tells us that Jungkook, even if he doesn't show it openly, is someone who deeply values emotional safety and tenderness in a partner. He might not fall in love quickly, but when he does, he wants a real home in that connection, something safe, warm, and full of loyalty. He's the type of person who would do everything to protect and care for his partner once they have earned his trust. Cancer at the beginning of this house also shows us that his partner and their relationship will focus on building a home, on creating a cozy atmosphere and safe environment. Cancer is all about nurturing and family life, so this is something important for JK in a relationship, especially in his marriage. There are no planets sitting in his 7th house, meaning that we take a look at its ruler, which is the moon, to get more details. Jungkook's moon is in Virgo, a sign that pays attention to small things. Virgo loves routines, careful thinking, and helping others. So his future spouse is likely to be practical, thoughtful, and maybe a little shy at first. Not flashy, but someone who shows love in quiet ways. Cooking, taking care of details, remembering the little things. Jungkook might also act like this in marriage, gentle, helpful, and always trying to make his partner's life easier. His moon is in the 8th house, which is the part of the chart linked to deep emotions, trust, and sometimes secrets. This means his relationships are never just surface level. When he loves deeply, even painfully sometimes. He might find it hard to open up at first, but once he does, he bonds with all his heart. The eighth house also rules transformation, so his future partner may change his life in big ways, helping him grow and understand himself more. This placement also shows that emotional or even spiritual connection is very important to Jungkook, not just physical attraction or fun dates. He wants something that lasts. I won't explain the complicated way to find this out, but the birth chart also gives us information about the ideal partner and about the name of the future spouse. Before I tell you what I saw in his horoscope, I want to mention one very important thing. When I say ideal partner, I don't mean the person that he will marry. It's about general features of the person who would best fit him, who would be like a soulmate. But I can also tell you from my experience as an astrologer that most of us don't marry that one ideal partner shown in the birth chart. Sometimes because we marry before even finding that person, or because we find them but we don't know about the special bond and walk past them, marrying someone else in the end. We've already seen what Jungkook looks for in a partner. Now we add a new layer. His ideal partner is someone with a strong Leo influence. This means that the person could be a Leo, but it's not a must. They could have their ascendant in Leo or many planets in this zodiac sign. It could also mean that the person has the features related to this sign. First and foremost, they are confident and charismatic, somehow majestic, with a personality like that of a lion who's known as the king of the animal kingdom. They are protective, creative, loyal, and romantic, and sometimes a bit overdramatic. Now, when it comes to the name of Jungkook's future spouse, I can't tell you the exact name, but I can tell you that it will be a traditional one, maybe even a bit old-fashioned. And its meaning will most probably be related to innocence, love, peace, harmony, beauty, maybe also wealth. Jungkook was born during a waning crescent moon, a phase that happens just before the new moon. People born under this moon phase are often wise beyond their years. In love and marriage, it often means they take their time. They don't rush into relationships. For Jungkook, this moon could be a sign that he will marry later in life, whatever that means. Because there are cultural differences when it comes to the age of marriage, and it also depends on what he himself thinks about the best age to get married. In any case, it will be after he's been through some emotional experiences that help him understand what he truly wants. Another big clue indicating the same is the opposition between Venus and Saturn in his chart. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and romance. Saturn is the planet of time, responsibility, and sometimes limits. When these two are in opposition, which means they pull in opposite directions, love doesn't come easy. This can mean that Jungkook might face delays in love or that early relationships feel heavy or serious. I can't tell you the exact time when he will marry, first and foremost because I would have to calculate a lot. Secondly, even if I took the time to do that, I wouldn't make the date public because this is something way too personal to disclose. What I can tell you is this. He will have excellent periods of time for his love life between July 2025 and September 2026, as well as between January 2029 and September 2030. This means that he might meet his future spouse during these periods of time. On the other side, if he already knows a person that he's interested in, he might then decide to take the relationship a step further, to start dating, become someone's boyfriend, or to even get married. If and when that comes, and no matter who that person will be, I hope from the bottom of my heart that we will be mature enough to accept that and to support him. No matter what our opinion about idols and dating is, let's not forget that they are humans like all of us and that they need a partner. In the end, all we want is for Jungkook to be happy. That being said, we're now coming to the end of my series about Jungkook. If you want, you can download his complete birth chart analysis as a PDF file. I'll put the link in the description. My next videos will be about the other 6 BTS members, so subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on if you don't want to miss them. Until the next time, shine bright like the stars.